Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the WASD and Beyond podcast. I am your host, Nick, and with me today, I have the one and only Final Boss.
How are you doing?
Good. What's going on, Eric?
Happy to be here. Not much, man. I feel like it's a very important day for us today.
It is, man. It is. This is something we're going to talk today about something that actually brought Eric and I together and made us pretty much become fucking friends. That's united entire communities together through mods, through just the game itself. But before we get to that, I'm going to plug Final Boss and Doc Longy, so our sponsors of the WASD and Beyond podcast and our community. WASD and Beyond is sponsored by Final Boss and Doc Longy. Please go over to both their websites. They respectively have leftovers for sale. You can get some Lady Croft leftovers, some Diablo leftovers, some fucking Star Wars leftovers. Anything that you want, get it now. If not, it's gone forever and you're shit out of luck. Doc Longy's got some hoodies, some buy one, get one socks. Dude, the leftovers here are crazy. Pick them up. If not, again, last chance. You won't get them again. Please also check out the Spawn Camp community, where we typically just play video games, play D&D, watch TV, watch movies. We talk about the game we're literally about to talk about right now, and we just do everything in between. So if you want to join the server, please do. Links are in the bio, as well as our sponsor links. Eric, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode, is there anything you want to plug with Final Boss? Anything you want to tell anyone come up, or you want to keep anything a secret, or I don't know. I just figure I'll give you the mic really quick.
Uh, no, thanks. I just want to just basically say thank you to anyone who continues to support, um, you know, everything Final Boss is doing. Um, it means the world to me. That people are into the shirts and stuff, and all the other items that have been made available. But yeah, as for what's coming, it's all a bit up in the air at the moment. Just sort of trying to gather reference and you know figure out if a particular game is worthy of putting on a shirt. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
figuring it out. But yeah, at the moment, no like solid plans. Obviously, we just did the Halo one. That did really well. But yeah, TBD on that one.
Because we're not we won't obviously go into what I've seen, but Eric and I obviously talk pretty much every day. I mean, we're 5 hours apart, we're worlds apart, but I'm always getting snippets of what you guys are possibly gonna get, and it's like, dude, every time I get it, I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn, bro, like these people have no idea what's about to hit them. But I really think we should just hop right in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, absolutely.
today is a very special day for a lot of people. Um, Today is the original Half-Life's birthday. 25 years old. This game is and will always be a powerhouse. When it came out, it innovated the FPS genre. It innovated the puzzle genre. It did so much for video games as a whole. Valve's biggest thing with this series is if it's not going to innovate or create, we're not going to make another one. Half-Life 1 comes out, innovates the FPS genre. Half-Life 2 comes out, innovates physics, graphics, and the FPS genre all over again. But this is the game that actually brought Eric and I together.
Yeah.
I found Final Boss randomly on Instagram, and I was like, holy shit, a Half-Life shirt. Like, you don't see it, which I'm wearing right now. This is the first shirt
Yeah.
I was ever
It's a
given
it's a
by Eric.
classic.
And I think this is like one of the first Final Boss shirts, or the first one, no?
Yeah, I think that would have been the second one.
Second, okay.
Yeah. So the Doom design came first, and
Which I
then
have that, yeah.
yeah, and then the Half-Life one came shortly after. But yeah, like it's funny seeing that now, just because um, using a different printer for those shirts back. This was going back like 3 years ago now. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a Final Boss relic right there.
Dude, and like I just remember seeing it on your page, and I was like, dude, holy fuck! Like, boom, I'm gonna hit this guy up. And we didn't talk about the shirt. We talked right about Half Life, and
Yeah,
from there it was like, hey, do you have WhatsApp? I'm like, I don't. What is that? You're like, let's talk through that. And like that Doc,
yeah,
and I didn't download it at first. And Doc was like, download fucking WhatsApp. But like that's
yeah,
what like Half Life brought us together. Half Life
yeah,
has brought so many communities together, whether it be you liked the single player experience, or you wanted to play Counter Strike or Team Fortress or all these other games that are associated with Half Life. Like
Yeah.
the history here is astounding. And not only that, but on Friday, Eric and I were freaking out because there was a tweet by somebody who's like, in an hour or in 5 hours and like 13 minutes, something big's gonna happen.
You're gonna see some serious shit.
And I was like, okay, what the fuck? And what we got at first, I was like, what the fuck does this have to do with any, like, why are we updating Half-Life? Why? So Half-Life got a big update in the multiplayer. The game got the original Valve logo in opening back.
Yeah.
Um, there are 4 new maps, and then we got an hour-long documentary by Secret Tape, which is produced and created by Danny O'Dwyer, and they worked right in conjunction with Valve. And
Yeah, Valve
Eric,
hired them, didn't they?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Eric and I are gonna
amazing.
definitely talk about that documentary too on this
Yeah,
episode because I watched it last night and I was like, holy fuck. I was
yeah.
like,
I
what
watched
the
it
fuck?
Friday night, and man, like I felt like really emotional watching it. It's crazy.
Dude.
Yeah, it was fun. Like Danny does like unbelievable, unbelievable quality work.
Yeah.
Like his stuff, and it's like the original, was it the Black Mesa documentary he did? Was that
So he did
last
Black
year?
Yeah, so he did Black Mesa. And then I
Yeah.
think after Black Mesa or prior to it was Half-Life 2, was it not?
Yeah, it was like yeah.
Yeah, because Jeff
I'm pretty
Keighley's
sure.
always had final hours. And the final hours are always cool. Like those are
Yeah,
always like, with Half-Life Alex, we had Half-Life Alex final hours, which kind of showed us a little bit of in-depth going on with Valve right now. Because the
yeah.
Valve we have now is not the Valve we've had for the last decade,
No,
decades. Like they
yeah,
just acknowledged Half-Life, which is huge. Like a lot of people are going, yeah, why wouldn't they? They don't acknowledge their past. Gabe Newell is
no,
not a person who he says it right from the get-go in this documentary.
yeah.
I don't think acknowledging our past is a big deal, but and it's like, okay, but this is what's going on here. And they do know that Half-Life turning 25 is a huge deal.
Oh yeah,
There's interest. And they're gonna keep updating Half-Life now. Why?
yeah.
Like,
Exactly. I was saying this to one of my friends because we were playing some CS on Friday night, and we were talking about it. And 25 years is a milestone, but at the same time, why make the big fuss and song and dance
right.
over it? Because like tons of games are 25 years old at this point,
Yeah.
but we don't get like a big documentary and a big update and like like a website made to celebrate it and stuff.
Right.
It's unheard of. But yeah, I'm really keen to see what happens now in the next few months. Maybe next month with the Game Awards.
If they
Like
Oh,
a
I don't know.
dream.
I have no fucking idea though, because like I know we're not gonna talk about GTA too much, obviously, or if at all.
Yeah,
But GTA is gonna be at the Game Awards. There's no
yeah,
there's no
yeah.
questions about
No
it.
doubt about it. Yeah,
My line is drawn in that sand. GTA is gonna be there. But if Half-Life and GTA are there, it's the 10th anniversary of the Game Awards. Half-Life just turned 25. Half-Life 2 turned 19. I don't know. I think the world might fucking stop.
yeah. I'd have an aneurysm, like as simple as that.
Dude, like I said, I'll quit my job and move to the desert. I'll make a bunker.
Yeah,
I'll send my
yeah,
wife and my kid all the money I get from e-begging on Twitch, like most of them do on
yeah,
Twitch anyways. But like,
yeah.
oh, that was a mean pop shot. That's fine. I hate
Uh,
streamers for the most part. But like, let's like really dive into Half-Life though. What was
yeah.
what was your first experience with this game?
So I would have been 8 years old
Fucking crazy.
when I first saw Half Life. So where my parents' house is like on the side of a valley
Yeah,
in South Wales, and I only had four neighbours, next door neighbours. Now, the neighbours to the left of my parents, they had three sons, and they were all massive nerds.
right.
So they are basically responsible for like a lot of like my identity and interests and like person today. So they were like all into like they were into heavy music, Warhammer,
Oh yeah.
and video games, right? And like Star Wars, like all of like the generic nerdy stuff that everyone used. a typical nerd is into.
Yeah.
But so I used to go over their house, and they used to have a LAN set up. So one of the sons had a PC upstairs in his bedroom. The dad
Sweet.
and the other sons then shared a computer in the kitchen. So like I used to go over there and like I'd watch them play Doom. I'd watch them play Quake. But I remember going over one day and Pete, the guy that had the PC upstairs in his bedroom, was playing Half Life, and I was just sat next to him, like jaw on the floor. Never seen anything quite like it. The characters had their mouths moving when they were
Yeah.
talking, and just the amount of like crazy shit that was happening on screen, like at any given time, like stuff blowing up, like with the tentacle scene in the silo and stuff, like all that mad stuff that was going on. So like that would have been 1998
Yep.
or 1999. So it was from that point where like I went home and I said to my parents, like, we have got to get a computer. Like we need a computer.
Right.
Um so this would have been like around um I think I probably saw them playing it around like the summer or towards the end of that year. And then that Christmas, um I basically went and stayed with a friend of mine who lived like one village down the road, right?
Yeah.
For the weekend, and then his dad brought me back home then on the Sunday. I was actually telling Mena this story the other day. She didn't know. And I got home and my parents were in the kitchen and they were like, "Oh, I've got some fucking terrible news." And I was like, "Oh, right, what's up?"
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, so when you were out, when you've been out this weekend, the ceiling in your bedroom has caved in." And I was like, "What?" They were like, "Yeah, you better go upstairs and have a look." I fucking ran upstairs, walked into my bedroom. No damage or anything. Literally, I had a computer desk and an IBM PC set up in my bedroom. And my dad had obviously this was during the days of like dial-up internet. So
Yeah.
my dad must have had a friend of his come in and fit a phone socket next to the PC, and it was all ready to go.
That's
And
so
there was
cool.
my big box copy of Half-Life One. Like I remember like losing my fucking mind. Like I'm pretty sure I'll have to clarify with my dad, but I'm pretty sure that like I was so excited, like I fell over and like nearly like twisted my
I would have
ankle
cried.
just because of how like fucking excited I was.
Yeah.
Um, and that was it, man. Like it was fucking game over for me at that point. Like all the other kids in the village that I lived in were like big into rugby and
Yeah.
boring shit like that. And for me, it was just like, hey, video game time. And yeah, that was it. Like, and obviously, I think around this time then, Opposing Force was also out. So I played a ton of Half Life at that point then. Really got into like Half Life Deathmatch. And
Yeah.
obviously, a couple of years down the line then is when like the modding scene really kicked off. And like you said earlier, like being introduced to like beta versions of Counter Strike, Team Fortress Classic, Day of Defeat. What came out? The Specialists. Did you ever play the
I
Specialists?
did play the
Which was like the
specialist.
the
Yep.
Matrix kind of style one.
Yeah.
That was awesome. But yeah, like it's crazy to think that like it was that long ago. It really makes me feel old now.
It doesn't feel like it though, man, cuz like
No, I know.
my situation isn't too far off from yours, right? So like
Yeah,
I remember I remember being a little guy, like seeing Half-Life for the first time. My uncle Keith lived with my grandparents cuz he was a roadie. So he was
right.
constantly on tour with like Metallica, Marilyn Manson, people like that he was on tour with. But when he would come
Yeah,
home from tour, he would go right upstairs and you would just hear that computer turn on and the
yeah,
click clack. So I'd seen Resident Evil, I'd seen Doom on that Wolfenstein, and like all these games for the very first time because of him.
yeah,
And then I saw Half Life, and I was like, "What the fuck is this, dude? Like, holy shit!" Like, obviously, Doom and all those games revolutionized gaming. There's no question
yeah.
about it. But this was like that next push that we needed. And
Absolutely.
he shooed me away. He's like, "Fuck off! Like, go! Like, I'm playing this." And I was like, "Yeah, that sucks." Flash forward a couple years later, and I'm at a buddy's house. My buddy Ed. We used to same situation, like land it up at his house. Like we would He would play in his dad's room. I would play on the computer in the living room.
Yeah.
And we'd play Unreal Tournament and Quake and all these games. And then he's like, "Have you ever played Half Life?" And I'm like, "No, but is that the crowbar one?" He's like, "Yeah, it's the crowbar one." And I'm like, "Okay, fucking bet." He's like, Let's play Half Life. I'll play in my dad's room. You could play out here. We could play single player. We could do whatever you want." Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Didn't leave that computer all day, bro. Didn't fucking move. I was like, "Holy shit, like this is the game." And
Yeah.
I remember the same thing. I went home and I'm like, "Mom, like I know the computer's for work, but I really want to just get this game. Could we go out to Costco or wherever we went and could we go pick this box up?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care." And the guy's like, "This is rated M, ma'am." And I was like, "Would you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, please.
yeah, you fucking narc. Like, chill out." So I remember at that time, Blue Shift was out, Opposing
Yeah.
Force was out, Counter Strike was had been out, and Half Life was out. So I gotten there was a deal where you can get all of them for like less than 200 USD.
Right.
So like
Okay.
I had all the big boxes. Now I'm obviously like behind me is that's not my copy, but I'm recollecting all the things I had. But I had
Yeah.
all the Half Life content in the world, from Half Life to Blue Shift, Opposing Force, to fucking Counter Strike, and above and beyond. Team
Yeah.
Fortress, and then it was one Easter, Half Life 2 came out, and that was like fucking hooked all over again, man.
Yeah.
But like I can remember that tram ride, like playing that tram ride at my buddy Ed's house for the very first time, loading up, and it's just like, "Good morning, Gordon. You're late. You better get suited." It's like, what the like it felt
Yeah.
like a lived-in world
Yeah.
where most other games didn't.
From the get-go. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I could see Gordon like being like you don't ever see him obviously, but I could imagine the scientist with his hair frazzled and he's got coffee stains. Like all of that is what I put into my head before we
Yeah.
get into the HEV suit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it sounds like
And
a
the
shit movie.
ponytail.
Yeah, dude, the
Or the
ponytail.
lack of ponytail.
Oh my god. But like that's the power of this game. I can remember where I was and how I was feeling and the very first moments with this game all the way to the
Yeah.
end. And to remember like seeing the G-Man for the first time. It was like,
Yeah.
who the fuck is that? Like you're sitting there going, okay, like there's this creepy cigarette man basically from X-Files, which they literally
Yeah.
talk about in the documentary.
Yeah, 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 they
And I'm like, wow, because I watched X-Files with my mom, like that guy looks like he's important.
mm,
And then to figure out like later on now, it's like, no, the G-Man is something more than what he is. And it's
yeah,
like from 98 until now, you guys have created this thing. And then Half-Life Alex took this thing and really reinforced like everything that you played in Half-Life 1, 2, episode 1 and 2 is all cohesively woven over the last 25 fucking that's insane.
yeah. You just know for a fact that, like, like the ending of Alex, like there's obviously like a storyboard in the Valve office, you know what I mean?
We
And
could
and that
spoil
is
it.
just a small piece of the puzzle. Yeah, let's not spoil it though. Like I'm like a
How many
big
years
advocate.
in?
I know. But like there's a few friends like on a Discord server I'm on, and they've just picked up some Oculus Quest 2s
Oh, yeah, okay.
during
Okay.
Black Friday week, and I've said, like, guys, you've like, because obviously because of the Half-Life anniversary, I've said you've got to buy Alex
You
because
have
it's
to.
down to like £19 or something at the moment. Man, like I remember fucking standing in the old office of my old house when those credits rolled, and I was literally just fucking
I was
weeping.
crying.
Like,
I cried
yeah,
my eyes out, dude. Like I remember and we can talk about any Half-Life we want. It's 25
yeah,
years of Half-Life. We could talk about any Half-Life at this point. But I remember this is when I was smoking cigarettes. You know what I
right,
mean? So like I
yeah,
remember getting my little brother drove an hour and a half to bring me because he had the index,
yeah,
and he's like, "Here, just take my fucking Oculus," because he knows how it's important to me. It's Half Life's really important to us. He's like,
yeah,
"All right, goodbye, have fun," and I was just like, flicked the cigarette outside. I was like, "Cool, let's go." And I sat in VR for like 12. I think I told you I sat there for 12
yeah,
hours, and I got so. The only time I'd get up was to go use the restroom and to smoke.
yeah.
I didn't eat. I would grab a drink of water and I would smoke cigarettes.
Like
That
Matthew McConaughey in that
yeah.
meme.
Yeah, dude. I'm like smoking it to the butt. Like I'm so hungry, but if I
Yeah.
smoke, I won't be hungry. And I
Your
can go back
fingers
and
are
forth.
turning brown because
Oh,
you're
this dude.
smoking it so close.
Oh, it's so fucking it's so haggard to think about. But I stayed in VR for 12 hours and I got sick.
Yeah.
But from the moment I loaded that up to the moment I finished, there was always a tear. There was
Yeah.
always like some like catch in my throat. I'm like, we're so fucking back. And then what they did, and exactly what you said. There's a storyboard.
Mm.
There has to be.
Like, yeah, like, I mean, Valve don't really. I mean, remember when they just announced it out of nowhere? There wasn't even like a rumor about them like
Nope.
there was rumors about the VR,
Yeah.
but there was no rumors of them actually making like a fully fledged AAA best in class VR game set in Half-Life. When I
Yeah.
when that got announced, right? My mate Matthew was like, are you are you gutted that it's a VR only game?" And I'm like, "No, because I'll fucking buy a VR headset to play
Absolutely.
a new Half-Life game." To be fair, I've said this to everyone, like buying the Oculus Quest. Like I've literally got it in my drawer here. Like
Yeah.
buying my Quest for fucking 250 quid or whatever it was back in the day. Like justified was justified just because of that one game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, I haven't turned that thing on like since finishing Alex. Do you know what I mean? But I'm glad that I bought it to experience like a not only a new Half-Life game, but also like a new chapter in like that whole universe that like I fucking adore.
It's
Because it's
yeah.
not just Half-Life, it's like it's everything that has spawned from Half-Life, Like we said earlier, Counter-Strike, like when I was a teenager and like my parents had bought like the second or third family computer when I was in your equivalent of high school.
Yeah.
I was about to sit like we have these exams at the end of high school called the GCSEs. So I was about to sit my GCSEs, but at the same time, I was super heavily invested in competitive 1.6 with a bunch of
Yeah.
guys that I'd met online who lived in the city of Newport, which was about an hour away from where I used to live.
Gotcha.
So like they were like the first online friends that like I ever hung out with in real life and stuff. And like when I was trying to, I was a teenager at that point, so I would have been like 15, 16 years old,
Right.
trying to explain to my parents that I'm going to be meeting a bunch of fucking strangers off the internet, going out for food with them, and like staying over their houses to play video games was like a really
It was a tough concept.
crazy, really crazy concept to try and like get across. But yeah, I remember like instead of revising for my GCSEs, like which was a very like it was a big it's a big thing, like
Yeah.
and there's still like a big emphasis on it even now. Instead of revising for my GCSEs, like me and my friends were queuing up for competitive CS 1.6 games on like clan base. There used to be one in the UK called Enemy Down, and
Yeah.
like we did like really well in Enemy Down, and I remember we were also using remember MIRC Merc,
Yeah, I do.
the chat, like and you
Yeah.
could queue up for games and stuff in that. But yeah, like CS was like a huge part of my growing up, and I met one of my best friends through Counter Strike. My friend Steph. We had a mutual friend who was in school with Steph, and we got introduced to each other over MSN Messenger. I don't know if you guys ever use
We
that
used
in the state.
AOL.
AOL,
AIM,
similar
yeah.
sort of thing. And yeah, like I've known Steph now since. Well, I mean, I've known Steph for about 20 years now, and we're actually going out to the first CS2 major together
Fuck you. I
uh,
know. I
in
know.
Copenhagen in April. But it's mad just because, like, we are friends literally purely because of Counter Strike, and
Yep.
like and it was funny because he literally lived like a 20-minute drive away from where I grew up, but we had no idea
Yeah.
of each other's existence. It was only until our friend had introduced us both, and like we were like fucking hell, yeah, we both love Counter Strike. Do you know what I mean? And
Right.
I remember so his family owned like a pub near the Brecon Beacons in South Wales, and I remember he invited me over his house, and this was around the time of Half-Life 2 coming out.
Yep.
Now, when Half-Life 2 initially launched, I didn't have a graphics card in the family PC that was good enough, so I had to run Half-Life 2 right in a fucking window
Oh
about this
man.
big in order to play it. But I remember going over Steph's house and he had it, and like we literally, so his bedroom was in the attic of the pub, and I remember me and him literally just sitting up there for like 24 hours, just playing through Half Life
Going.
2 for
Oh
the first
man.
time. Like, oh man, absolute game changer. And then obviously, you had CS Source coming out, and shortly
Condition
followed by.
Zero.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that was a little bit before that, wasn't it?
yeah.
CZ. But like, yeah, Dave defeat Source, and then
Oh my god. Good defeat.
Portal, TF2, and
It's because of this universe.
yeah.
It's just because of Half-Life and Gabe Newell and what's Mike, right? Oh my god.
Uh,
Yeah, it's like the two founders of Valve who left fucking Microsoft. They just said,
right.
"Fuck it,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
we're making video games now," and they just
yeah,
fucking did it. And the documentary was laid out by Danny and his teams and Valve so incredibly well in the
yeah,
chapters you get and the things that you see and like the little bit of inside knowledge. Like I didn't realize how many people from Duke Nukem and Apogee came over to work on Half Life. How many
yeah,
people
yeah.
from id were like, yeah, use it. We don't care. Use
Well,
the
they had
Quake
the
engine
they had the Quake engine on a disc,
on a
didn't they? And then
fucking
they
CD. Are
on a
you
CD and they modified it and stuff.
like that's fucking insane to me, right? Like
Yeah,
it it's fucking wild, man. Like in the documentary, like you said, had me emotional. I was drinking whiskey,
yeah.
so I was like 3 whiskeys
So
deep, and I was going,
yeah,
"Oh my god, oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god, my childhood, bro." But like, it's fucking, it's truly wild what this series and this universe, because Portal is a part of the Half Life universe.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Black Mesa, yeah, dude, against Aperture, like that's, oh man, like thinking about that. 'Cause they've stopped at Half Life 2 and Portal 2. Half Life 2
yeah,
Episode 2 and Portal 2. I'm wondering, we could do some speculation if you want, but
yeah. Let's do it.
I'm wondering if the goal is Shell and Gordon to eventually be able to meet. Because
Yeah.
again, innovation. I but here's the problem. I with Half-Life, I don't want to play with anybody.
Oh no, like I really liked like the multiplayer that came with both Half-Life One and Half-Life Two was really good fun.
Yeah.
But like I think that the fully fledged multiplayer games like TF2, CS, and Left 4 Dead are better to be enjoyed with other people. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, but like as like a stepping stone to a bigger and better thing, I feel like the multiplayer is fine. But yeah, I don't think Half-Life 3 needs to be a co-op game. You know what I
No.
mean? Chuck in the deathmatch multiplayer, like all the usual stuff that you get. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, you know, if and when, because
We
like where they left it, with the Borealis and
That's what I was
everything
about to
with the
say.
ship,
We know we're going
and
there. And
yeah,
we
yeah,
know Shell is going, or Chell rather, is going to the Borealis as well.
yeah,
Everybody, that's the crux of this entire thing. Everyone's going to the Borealis. So how cool would it be to see the grav gun get a bit of an update with some of that
yeah,
portal technology?
yeah.
I almost feel like it's a lot to think and to do in a game though. I don't know.
Because the portal gun, like the zero, what is it, zero energy field manipulator
Yes,
device, is like no, that's the gravity gun.
that's a gravity
The
gun, but
portal
the
gun,
portal gun, yeah,
the portal gun like has gravity gun
qualities to it.
features.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can pick stuff up, move it around, you know. So yeah, I I really hope like we do get something in the next in the next few years.
yeah.
But we know that they're working on multiple games. You know what I mean? Like
Neon
that's
Prime.
confirmed, and yeah, um,
HLX is something that has been data mined again. Tyler McVicker and all those dudes do. I get annoyed sometimes with the clickbaity bullshit that these guys do, but
yeah,
they really are capturing shit. So
yeah,
we know HLX is a thing. HLX is another VR title supposedly after Alex. So I'm
yeah.
wondering, is that going to take? Are we gonna? Are we gonna go back to being Shepard from opposing force? Because he's
Hey,
in
who knows?
stasis right now.
Yeah, he's hanging out like
So that would be neat. Because Alex is
yeah,
now doing whatever she's doing. I almost slipped up, but she's doing whatever she's doing.
yeah.
So that's what I'm wondering. Are we gonna get this, or are we gonna get a full fledged. I don't fucking know. That's the problem. We got
Yeah, yeah.
HLX, we got Neon Prime, which is like Dota 2 meets an a third person Overwatch type game meets the Combine.
Combine. Yeah, I heard about that. Like it's almost like a. I heard that it was like a VR centered like strategy game
And I heard that was
of
scrapped.
sorts. Ah,
So I
right.
heard
Okay.
so people are already playing Neon Prime. There are people who've tested it. So
Right.
we know that for a fact. It's like when people were testing Counter-Strike 2, we knew that it was being tested because there were pros going to Seattle. It was
Yeah.
on it was being shown. The Steam DB was like, by the way, this is happening. It's like,
Yeah.
why are they all there? And it's like, oh yeah, no shit. But like, same thing with Neon Prime. Like we know they're all working on that. So
Yeah.
now with this Half-Life announcement, again, it's not the same Valve. Or with Half-Life 25th anniversary, not the same Valve. Are we going to start
No.
seeing more things rolled out? We just got the Steam Deck OLED.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So is the Deckard next? The new VR set. Like I know that's being worked on. Valve is incredibly awesome and incredibly fucking frustrating.
Yeah. And they
That's
know it as well. You know what I mean?
dude, like just something. Just something would be cool. And
Yeah.
they're obviously doing shit. So
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I don't know really heads or tails really to keep up with them.
Well, I was gonna say, right. Think about it this way. Yeah. So every single game the Valve have been responsible for now have all capped out at the number two. Now, Counter Strike was the
Yeah.
last game to get to two, which was literally what last month. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So now everything is at two. So after two comes three, right?
If you ask Gaben, he'll one, two, and then
Yeah,
four in that video. It's like
yeah.
fuck you, dude.
I'm hopeful. Like I said that same thing to my friends who I was playing CS with the other day. Like surely, it's time. It's time.
It has to be, man. Like the good and bad with Valve is that they're not beholden to shareholders.
Yeah.
So that means what Gabe said is true. So, waiting is fine. Or what was the quote? Basically, suck is forever, is what he said.
Yes.
Suck is
Yeah.
forever.
There's
So
no
let
point rushing a game.
yes,
Like you can rush a game, but suck is forever.
suck is forever. So I and there have been iterations of Half-Life 3. There's been multiple iterations of Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
They've said it. Yeah, no, you guys have almost had it this many times. It's like, dude, fuck you.
Yeah.
But and the way Valve is structured is, hey, let's make a game. Cool, what do you want to make? Half-Life 3. Yeah, let's try. What the fuck do you mean let's try? Like
Let's try it. Let's give it a go. Like yeah.
same with Portal 3. That's almost happened a couple times now. So Portal 3
Yeah.
has almost happened. Half-Life 3 has almost happened. Uh so let's just commit. Like let the guys who made Alex make 3.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. Do you want 3 to be in VR? Because I don't.
I mean, not really. But like I feel like it's at that point now where like, people have modded Half-Life Alex into like a fully playable
Yeah.
keyboard and mouse game. But I think I think what Valve did with Alex is like they released it on VR obviously to bump sales with the index and stuff.
Yeah.
And just to get people to like pay attention to VR, like being like a legit medium, not just like a gimmick like fucking 3D TVs and stuff. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, but at the same time, I feel like they would really upset a lot of people if it was like a VR only title. Having the option to do both, like Star Wars Squadrons or something like that,
I'm
would
cool
be
with I'm
awesome.
cool with that.
Absolutely. And I feel like they could pull it off. Do you know what I mean? Because like they
Yeah.
are they are the innovators. Like look at what they did with Alex. Do you know what I mean?
It
Like
pushed
I
VR to
mean,
the next level.
yeah.
And then you
Like
had Boneworks right with it too. You
I had a
know?
friend, right, who did a full playthrough of Alex on VR. He streamed it on Twitch, and he carried around with him for the whole game, like a wooden box, right?
Yeah.
And every time he found like a cabinet or like a dead combine with a grenade, he would pull the grenade out and put it in the box, and he carried it with him for the whole game.
Oh my god, dude.
And he was just like throwing them out like fucking
It's just
sweets.
it's just like the Noam Chomsky thing.
Mm,
In Half-Life episode 2, you could
yeah,
find Noam in the fucking in Alex too. So it's like,
yeah,
it's the innovation is key for Half-Life games. Valve, it's if it's not going to innovate, we're not going to do it.
yeah,
But you release Half-Life 3, all bets are off. The entire industry has to flip on its head. And I think that's
yeah,
what needs to happen. Um to really cap the episode off, I think if Half-Life 3 comes out,
yeah.
the entire industry really has to it because it's not going to fail. It's
Oh no, I mean,
the expectations up there,
yeah.
but it's not going to
Probably
fail.
like the most. I'd probably go out as far to say like the most anticipated video game of all time at
It
this
has to
point.
be. People are saying GTA 6 is, but I don't agree with that. I think people are excited for GTA 6.
Yeah,
You had 5, 15 years ago, whatever. Cool, I get it.
yeah,
I get it. Um Half-Life 3 is a totally different experience, or Half-Life 2 and episode 1 and 2 were totally different experiences with a promise for an episode 3. Got shit canned. So we've been stuck in
yeah,
limbo. This is a story that needs to finish. And I think when we get there, because obviously again, Valve is not the same Valve, and it releases, people are going to have to look at the storytelling of all three games and go,
yeah,
fuck, like we really need to get our shit together again because like this has been a good year for gaming. I would say it has been,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've had a
but
pretty good time with it.
we can't allow it to go back to what it was because it was pretty bad for a minute with games. And
Yeah,
we're still getting shit games. We just got that Walking Dead game that was bad. Uh,
I was reading about that on Twitter earlier.
uh
Holy shit! It's
I
the same company that did that fucking King Kong game, right?
Yeah, dude. Like, why the fuck are we giving these? Like, I want people to do well in the industry, not being a
How are
part of it
they? How
myself,
are
but
they like? How are they managing to pull off like
these IPs,
licensed games?
I
Yeah,
don't know. Don't know. They fucked up twice. I don't think they're. And then you had Gollum, but like, we can't go back. Like, if we can just have Valve really just, and they've had their blunders.
yeah,
Artifact, unfortunately,
yeah,
but that was we're not going to do that. We're not going there. I liked
yeah.
Artifact. They've had Artifact. CS2 is launched a bit rocky, but they
It's
know
getting
that.
better by the week, though. Yeah,
They
they're
know
aware.
that.
Yeah,
So, whatever. I think that it'll flip the industry on its head, and I think we'll get back to where we need to be in gaming if and when it releases. So, do
yeah.
you have any final thoughts on any of this before we wave goodbye to our fantastic audience?
um, yeah, like I just, it's weird because like it's been so long now since episode 2.
Yeah,
I think like I'm just happy waiting, knowing that they won't deliver anything but the best possible game that it can be.
almost
Because look at
perfection. Yeah.
look at Alex. Like, because when Alex came out, no one was expecting it to be a VR game. Everyone like pretty much writ it off there and
Yeah.
then because it was a VR game, and then it ended up like being a game of the year contender,
One of the greatest VR games ever made as well.
the greatest VR game
Yes.
ever made, to be honest with you. And yeah, like that spawned like a whole sub genre now where like people are modding
Yeah.
the Alex engine, I suppose, the Source 2 VR engine. But and you're like, just like how much the visuals stepped up with them using Source 2 and stuff, like it just
Insane.
makes me really excited about like, you know, every year games look better and better, and it blows my mind. So I can't even imagine what what a potential Half-Life 3
I d-
could look
I
could look
almost don't
like
want
and
to.
play like. Yeah, you
I
know what I mean?
don't want to. I want to just see it.
But
Oh
like I
man.
said to you the other day, like anytime something gets announced now, like me and you are gonna have a video call and you're gonna watch me eating a fucking shoe or something. I will. I will.
Dude,
I
if
will.
Half-Life 3 gets announced, I will
Yeah.
fucking figure out a way to cook my index box or my fucking
Yeah.
deck box that I got
Yeah.
here, and I
I
will
got
fucking
mine,
eat
yeah.
it. I will fucking eat it. I know it's empty, everybody. I'm charging my fucking into my fucking deck right now. Yeah. So, oh man. Dude, thank you so much for hopping on the show, man. It's been long
Hey,
fucking overdue. We actually have another episode we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when we both
Mine's
have a
just
little bit of
collecting
time,
dust in front of my monitors
I
here,
feel
but
so bad for my fucking deck, dude. I love the thing, but it's like I'm fortunate to have the computer I have.
yeah,
So,
same.
but before we sign off, is there anything you wanted to leave the audience with pertaining to Final Boss, pertaining to you, anything you're working on that you want people to know about, just anything that you want to plug? It's the floor is yours, bro.
The only thing I'm gonna plug is, if you've been living under a rock for the last 25 years and have a Steam account, Half-Life 1 is free on Steam at the moment to
Right now
celebrate 20
until
right
tomorrow.
now. I think is it till tomorrow?
Yeah, dude. If you don't get it today, it's off. Like you have to pay, which is not a big deal because the winter sale's coming, and that means
Yeah,
the entire Valve collection is going to be fucking $10.
yeah.
So, but yeah,
Also, Half-Life Alex is, this is me, like, doing, like, a Valve plug now. Half-Life Alex is only £17 on Steam at the moment, so if you've got a VR headset, fucking buy it and play it.
you need it, dude.
You need it. You like, literally the best game of the last 3 years.
Easily, easily,
Easily.
and it's a VR title,
Easily.
which no one expects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck? Um, thanks again, man. I can't. I'm
No
so.
worries.
This is the episode I knew we were talking last night. It's like we had to
Yeah.
do it.
I
I'm glad
messaged
I
you,
made
didn't I? I was
time.
like, "Do you wanna do are you doing a 25th?" Because I figured, like, I fucking knew you would. I mean, like
I wanted to, but Evan's not a Half
yeah.
Life guy.
Yeah.
He likes the
Evan,
concept.
Evan's gonna shape up, man. He's gonna play Black Mesa. Gotta play Black Mesa.
Yes, at least start with Black. I've told everyone like if you are new to the series, and before we go, if you are new to the series and you want to get into this universe, but you don't want to play something that looks as dated or old, I'm cool with playing Half Life the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buy Black Mesa. It is a
Yeah.
great, almost reimagining. There are some new things in Black
Yeah.
Mesa, but like play Black Mesa, play through Zen, get all the way to Zen and play. It's a totally different experience. It feels wonderful,
Unbelievable. Like
man. Yeah,
like that final boss fight,
the Nihil.
final boss. The
Yeah, very
Nyland
nice.
fight is unbelievable. Like I remember, like finishing the first Half-Life game as a kid, and like you're fighting him in that. It basically just looks like a giant fucking
Maybe.
arsehole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just a big baby floating around in an arsehole. But then you compare it to the fight that you have in Black Mesa, and it's like he's fucking teleporting in pieces of Black
Disgusting
Mesa,
too.
and like it's
Yeah.
crazy. Ah, yeah, I need to have a playthrough of it again soon, I think, because it's been a while. But because I remember there was a bit of a wait, wasn't there, between them like finishing the Zen portion of the
Yeah.
game
You
and then going to
basically
like full release.
you basically when the game was first couple years of it, you would complete all the way up to Zen and it would end with Gordon's hands on in Zen. Like you'd be like,
Yeah,
you know, and that's what would go
looking
half.
around.
Yep, and that's where it would end. And I was like, what? Where? Because I'd played the beta branch of Zen through them, and
Yeah,
I was like, okay, this is broken as fuck. And then they fixed it, and then it came out. I was like, so again,
yeah,
play Black Mesa, um, play Half Life 2, Episode 1 and 2, and if you have VR, play Alex. You need to. Don't do yourself a disservice. Play Alex.
yeah.
So, and
Amen.
before I let you guys go, though, please again check out Final Boss. Be up to date on his page. Please be up to date on the Final Boss. There is so many cool drops possibly coming out. I'm not putting pressure on you, Eric,
Yeah,
but I've seen some
yeah.
cool shit, and I know if it's gonna happen, you guys are in store for a lot of awesome things. So check out Final Boss Instagram, Twitter. Check out the website. Stay up to date. Check out Doc Longy. Go to his website, his Twitter, his Instagram. Check them all out. Join the Spawn Camp where you can play Half Life with us, Day of Defeat, anything you want. Join, have a good time. And until next week, guys, take it easy and stay safe.